hello there. Welcome to the moon.
A Native American on the moon. How amazing is that? How did you get here?
I am here as a visitor from an earlier trip. I came here to learn about science. Can I tell you about being Native American?
Sure. I love to learn new things.
I come from the mountains and my family liked to lead ceremonies.
What kind of ceremony?
The green corn ceremony. This is where we would ask the spirits for a good harvest.
Harvest. You grew your own food.
Yes, we grew corn, potatoes, grain, beans, and squash.
Those all sound like good foods. Yum, you were making me hungry.
I don't think we eat the same foods like you would buy in the grocery store. We had to make all of our food for every meal. We had to carry water to our fields, which is very hard work.
How did you make your food?
We would boil some foods over a fire. We would cook and dry meat out to make them last longer. We would take dried meat on long hunting trips.
We eat fries, hot dogs and cheeseburgers. Those are not as healthy as the foods in your diet.
In the mountains, where I live, we had some fruits like apples, pears, and some berries. But those were hard to find.
Oh, I like tomatoes.
I lived in a wigwam, not a teepee.
What were the wigwams like?
Wigwams were made out of grass, logs, and clay like mud. They were not very warm in the winter. So, we had to build a fire inside.
Some of our buildings were called longhouses. These were larger than the wigwams. So where did all the smoke go? Couldn't things catch on fire?
There was a hole on top to let the smoke escape. And yes, there was a chance of catching everything on fire, but it was necessary to keep up from freezing.
I have a question about hunting. What would you use to hunt with?
We would use bow and arrows, sometimes hatchets, and spears with a little. We would use every piece of the animal, even making string to fish with.
What kinds of animals would you hunt?
We would hunt for deer and small game like rabbits. We would even fish in nearby lakes and streams.
I have another question. What would you wear?
Our clothing was made out of animal skins. My favorite thing to do is to make clay beads to decorate my clothing and to make headdresses.
What other things would you make?
We would make pottery and bowls to store things, cook, and carry water. This pottery was very breakable and unusually had a round bottom.
What would you make for fun?
I loved to make dolls out of corn husks. We would often use dolls in trading to get materials for the tribe. It's very sad that we couldn't play with the dolls because they were only used for decoration.
What are some things you needed that you had to trade for?
We would trade animal pelts, jewelry, baskets, and sometimes deer meat. We would trade for different foods, tools, animals, and weapons.
Baskets were made by the women. They'll make them by hand weaving thin pieces of wood. Not many have survived today because they rot. But who would you trade with?
Other tribes had great resources. But we really liked trading with the settlers.
Why?
They had better tools to improve our farming and weapons that we could use to protect ourselves.
Protect yourself. Who do you quarrel with?
We often had disagreements with other tribes over hunting land and bad communication because we speak different languages.
Tell me about important symbols from Native Americans.
The snow moon tells you that it will snow soon. The sunrise symbol is important because Native Americans value the sun. And there is the hunting moon that describes a good hunting season. It was nice meeting you. Please enjoy your trip of the moon.
Believe me, I will.